If he is your king, come on and salute him, honor him this afternoon. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and the King of glory shall come in. He is the Lord strong and mighty, and we bless him today forever. The Lord mighty in battle. He is the King of glory. We bless his name. We've been preaching until the Lord tells us otherwise from the theme of the hope of the gospel. We're going to preach about hope over and over until everything in anybody's life that looks hopeless turns around. Hallelujah. There is hope in the gospel. Today I want to call your attention, ye not out, but the Spirit of God as he shall guide, to Jeremiah chapter 17. Jeremiah 17 verse 12 is where we will begin. Jeremiah 17 and 12. If you're there and you're ready, say thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. We salute and honor and grateful for all who are watching us as we are streaming today. Thank you for being a part of this worship experience as well. Jeremiah 17 verse 12, beginning at verse 12 and concluding with verse 14. This is the word of the Lord. A glorious high throne from the beginning is the place of our sanctuary. O Lord, the hope of Israel. All who forsake you shall be ashamed. Those who depart from me shall be written in the earth, because they have forsaken the Lord, the fountain of living waters. Heal me, O Lord, and I shall be healed. Save me, and I shall be saved, for you are my praise. This is the word of the Lord. People of God, thanks be to God. Heal me, O Lord, and I shall be healed. Save me, and I shall be saved. I want to talk this afternoon about the cry of the hopeful. The cry of the hopeful. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. Hallelujah. Church, I am firmly persuaded that life is a gift for which we should be grateful. I believe it is proper, after God has graced us with the gift of life, for us to walk around in melancholy, always negative, but I believe life is a gift for which we should be grateful. But life as we know it consists of, as I always say, some troubled times and some troublemakers. Now, sometimes that trouble, hopefully you're not sitting next to a troublemaker. Hallelujah. But life has more than enough of its share of troubled times and troublemakers. Sometimes that trouble is external. Somebody say external. Which means the adversity we face is objectified. It is outside of us and even all around us. Sometimes the trouble we have to deal with is external. Other times the trouble we face is not external, but internal. Which is to say that the conflict is within us and may even be us. And then there are times when the trouble is not just external and not simply internal. But sometimes trouble is all around us and within us. Such is the case in our text. I lift that as we look at this text, which is part of the cry of the nicknamed weeping prophet named Jeremiah. It is the cry of one who is aware of the duality of conflict being experienced by Israel, and consequently being experienced by him. Because some of our trouble, even if it's not in us, is connected to the people who are a part of us. If you're a caregiver, sometimes your trouble comes in what the enemy has done to those you care about. Because sometimes if the enemy cannot get to you, he will get to you by getting to those who are close to you. Do I have a witness in the house? he can't get to you, he'll trouble your child. If he can't get to you, he'll trouble your spouse. If he can't get to you, he'll trouble your friend. Because if he can't get to you, he'll try to get trouble through you. By getting to those who are next to you. Jeremiah is called of God, but he is troubled by what God has decided to do in the lives of those to whom he is assigned, and he is a part of the experience. He is aware of the dual conflict being experienced by Israel. Let the church say Israel. Israel. You know, Israel is the covenant people of God. But they are also, from our perspective, a foreshadow of the New Testament church of the Lord Jesus Christ. So lest we would be too hard on Israel, it is important for us to remember that when we look at Israel, we are looking at church people. Just like us. The external portion of the trouble is in the form of the invading and occupying forces of Babylon. Let the church say Babylon. You know what Babylon means. It's related to Babel, and it means confusion. And it means that confusion is coming in the form of Nebuchadnezzar and the forces of Babylon. As such, the problem that is Babylon is military. It is socio-political. It is cultural. It is economic. It is in the politics. It is affecting Israel's culture. It is affecting their property. It is affecting their money. It is a problem that is external. It is military. But as prophets are anointed to do, prophets are anointed to look at what's happening in the culture and make a critique on what is happening in the spirit. And so as prophets do, Jeremiah discerns and decrees that Israel's external trouble is but a manifestation of their internal trouble. Israel's internal trouble is what Fawcett and Brown call their inveterate fascination with idolatry, which means that they have a fascination with false gods. They have a proclivity to put their trust in other people, places, and things when they should be turning to the God of their salvation. Idolatry is a faith problem. Idolatry is when we think we can build something to solve our problems just in case the God that we are in relationship with doesn't come through. Idolatry is the plan B we build while we're waiting on God. If God takes too long and we decide we got to do something by taking it into our own hands, we may not intend to do it, but we have built a false God. You remember when Israel was in the wilderness during Moses' time, and Moses was up talking to God, and the answer was taking too long for the people of God. So the people of God said, we're going to take this into our own hands, and they used stuff that God gave them to solve their own problem and did not realize that they had built a false God. Anytime you think somebody else can work it out better than God can, you got a false God. You can thank some other people, but only God gets the glory. Thank the doctor, but the doctor ain't God. Thank the counselor, but the counselor is not God. Thank the bank, but the bank is not God. Thank your job for the salary, but the job is not your provider. All of our help comes from the Lord. Do I have a witness in here that can say he gets all the glory? He says, and he's a jealous God, which means don't give anybody else my glory. Is there anybody that came on a Thursday afternoon to give God glory? Come on, give him glory. It only belongs to him. I know you had some other people that God used to get you some help, but the help really comes from the Lord and his glory. You ain't going to make Israel's mistake. Their mistake is that they started putting their faith in things other than God, thereby making false gods in the process. And faith problems, which are internal, can be bigger than any external problem. In Jeremiah's mind, Babylon is not as big a problem as the idolatry, because the God that we serve can take care of Babylon just like that. Babylon, y'all know Babylon means confusion. Anything in your life that's confusing you might seem big to you, but God can handle it just like that. I wish I had somebody look into that because he can handle it just like that. As soon as you put your trust in him, as soon as you give it over to him, as soon as you call out to him, as soon as you cry out to him, he can handle it. It's big to you. Babylon is intimidating to Israel. Babylon's army is big. Babylon's town is big. And some of us know what it is to face some problems that we know are too big and too big for us. Am I talking to anybody? Your bills are too big for you. It's confusing you how you're going to make ends meet. But they're not too big for your God. Cancer is big to you, but it's not big to the God who speaks to cancer and makes it dry up. Depression is big to you, but it's not too big for the God who is the joy of our salvation. Does anybody still believe there's nothing too hard for God? Would you preach to your neighbor this afternoon and tell him nothing's too hard, nothing's too big, nothing's too great? I don't care how much it's intimidating you. The devil is a liar. There's a giant slayer inside of you. And if you call on Jesus, every Goliath in your life has got to come down. Look at somebody and prophesy. Tell them it's coming down. It's coming. Goliath is coming down. Babylon is coming down. Nebuchadnezzar is coming down. Everything that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, every stronghold is coming down. Every sickness is coming down. Because there's hope. Jeremiah said, if you get your insides together, God can handle the outside. Somebody lay hands on yourself and say, Lord, help me get this together. Help my unbelief. Lord, I believe, but help my unbelief. Help the conflict. Jeremiah said, here's what I love about it. He says, we got issues. And so when Jeremiah begins to identify their internal issues, it sounds like he's always complaining, and some people give the misnomer saying that Jeremiah is always melancholy. So you don't hear a lot of people preaching from Jeremiah because it sounds melancholy, but faith doesn't mean I'm in denial of my problem. Faith means I acknowledge the problem. But even in the midst of his crying, you hear the hope in it. Every man, and that's how it works. Isn't that funny? Our problems are big. But because God is so great, ultimately the solution is simple. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? The problem list is always more extensive than the solution. I know the solution will give you strategy and all that, and that takes process. I'm with you. But I'm saying, but look at the problem list. Look at the problem list. I got this bill. I got that bill. This is due. This is automatic withdrawal. This coming out. This has got to be paid. I don't know. This has got to be done. Insurance is due. Light bill due. We got gas bill too. Are y'all with me? Telephone disconnect. There you go, next paycheck. That's a list. Here's the solution. Jesus will work it out. He's trying to tell you. He's trying to tell you. And what throws you off is that the list of problems seems so long that it doesn't seem like the solution can handle all the problems. But you don't understand how much power is in the name of the Lord. Look at somebody, tell them there's enough power to handle all your problems. Oh, I don't know who I'm talking to, but I'm talking to somebody. Look at somebody else and tell them God's got enough power to handle all of your problems. So yeah, Jeremiah's issue list is long, but his statement is simple. All of this that's going wrong, there's still hope. He said, I need somebody to holler, there's still hope. Through all of the pain, all of the loss, all of the grief, it is not a cry of utter despair, because this isn't my despair crying out, this is my hope crying out. Oh my God. Anybody ever mistake your tears for depression? I ain't depressed. God is I'm just waiting on God, and I know God's going to do something. And if I was, I need to go get help. But this ain't that. This is not what you think. These are tears of joy, because God is going to work it out. I don't know how he's going to do it. But I got hope even when I'm hurting. He says, I got hope. He says, Jeremiah's crying, he says, and I want you to just know three things. One, there is a place of hope. He said, I'm crying because I got a place of hope. Look at somebody say, I got a place of hope. There's a place. Verse 12 says, a glorious high throne from the beginning is the place of our sanctuary. He says, I know God is omnipresent. I know he's everywhere at the same time. But I want you to know that there's also secret places where I can go in the time of trouble and talk to God. It's called a sanctuary. You do know sanctuary means a place of safety. It means stuff I couldn't talk about. I know he's out in the open, but some stuff I can't talk about on the bus stop. But I need to talk about them in the prayer closet. Some stuff I need to share that for real, the people in my media space, I love them, but they can't handle it. They can't handle it. I know you had something that you can't tell. Anybody in here honest enough to say some stuff is between me and the Lord? I must tell Jesus. All of it. It's a sanctuary. I need a safe place where I can say, Lord, I need to talk to you right here. Lord, I'm going through something. And it's not like you don't know, but I need to let you know that I know that this is too big for me. And I got some stuff and I need your help. And he says, I want you to know that you have a God who's listening. He said, you can go right to the throne. Look at somebody, you go to the throne. You go to the throne. And when you go to the throne, the first thing you get is mercy. Oh my God. He says, you got a place where you can go. He says, and secondly, he says, there's hope because I got a place. He says, secondly, there's a person of hope. Verse 13, he says, O Lord, the hope of Israel. Hit it. I want you to know that hope is not a check. That's good, but that ain't hope. Hope can give you a check. Hope can make a way out of nowhere. Hope is not a car. No, hope can give you favor. Get a car. Hope is not an abstract idea, but hope is a person. And all who forsake you shall be ashamed. He says, I know we're living in a world where people have lost their faith in you. I know we live in a world where people think I'm crazy for coming to the sanctuary. I know we live in a world where people have all other kinds of solutions. But I want you to know that if they're going to be ashamed that I believe your word, I'm going to rejoice when it's all said and done. For the word of God says that those who trust in the Lord shall never be put to shame. There ain't no way you can trust God and not have him bless you. I don't know who I'm talking to. So my hope is not in a promotion from politics. My hope is not in a human being. But my hope is in the one who sits on the throne. And so even though I'm hurting, I want you to know I got a place of hope. I got a person who gives me hope. And finally, because we got to go, I know there's power in my hope. It's in verse 14 and he begins to cry out. Because the more you think about the place and the person, the more you can't help but cry out and give him praise. Look at your neighbor and tell him, ain't nothing wrong with hollering. As long as you hollering to the right person. Ain't nothing wrong with making some noise in the middle of the afternoon. Look at the cry of the psalmist. He says, oh Lord, heal me, and I shall be healed. Which means, oh Lord, I admit that we've tried to self-medicate. Don't act like you ain't ever tried to solve your own problem. Oh Lord, I've tried to self-medicate. Oh, with bottles and pills and cheap thrills and slipping in and out of your will. I wish I had some honest people. But I popped pills and that didn't do it. I took an Ambien and that didn't do it. I took Prozac and that didn't do it. I sipped on a bottle on that sanctimony and that didn't do it. But I know a doctor who specializes in things that seem impossible. Look at your neighbor, tell him, neighbor, no more self-medicating. You have a great physician, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Prince of Peace. Heal me, and I shall be healed. And not only that, but hear my cry. Save me, which means deliver me, because the devil thought he had me. But tell your neighbor, I'm going to get out of this. For many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers us out of them all. Tell your neighbor, God will bring you out of all of it. Every valley, every pit, every low place. Tell your neighbor, I'm coming out, and I'm coming out better, because the Lord will save me. Lift your hands and cry out if you still got hope. Heal me, save me, for you are my praise. To Texas, you are my praise. Throw your head towards heaven and say, you are my praise. I'm going to my seat. But Sister April, I looked that text up, and when he said, you are my praise, Elder, I wanted to know what kind of praise was he talking about? Because there's all kinds of words for praise. There's the yada, there's the toda, there's the halal, there's the kara. But when I looked it up, it said tehillah, which means a song of praise to God. Which means, oh Lord, in the time of trouble, I hear you singing over my situation. Does anybody believe that God will sing over your struggle? Zephaniah put it this way. He said the Lord will rejoice over you with singing. Look at your neighbor, say, neighbor, God is speaking a word over your life. He's singing singing over all of my struggles. That means things are turning in my favor. Turn around where you are. Tell your neighbor, things are turning around. Give them a cry of gratitude. Cry out to him. Shout up to God. God, I'll sing to you. You sing back to me. God, you sing to me. And I'll sing to you. I'm going to sing what the angels sing. Holy, holy, righteous. And then I'm going to sing what the angels can't sing. Thank you for your mercy. Thank you for another chance. Thank you for your goodness. Thank you for redemption. Come on, church. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so. Say so. Tell your neighbor, you got hope. I don't care what you're going through. Give God a shout of victory. You got hope. Open your mouth and cry out a sound of victory. Cry out a sound of deliverance. Heal me, and I shall be healed. Save me, and I shall be saved. Deliver me, and I shall be delivered. Bless me, and I shall be blessed. Open a door, make a way, move on my behalf. Bless my children, bless my family, and while on others thou art calling, do not pass me by. Say yes, Lord. Say yes, Lord. Say yes, Lord. We are the time, but I ain't out of testimony. Hallelujah. Lift your hands. Tell the Lord thank you. You got hope. You got a place of hope. A sanctuary. A throne where you can go boldly and talk to God. Hope is a place. Hope is a person. He is the hope of Israel. He is the hope of glory. He is the hope of my struggle. And there's power in your hope. Oh Lord, if you do it, it's going to be done. Oh Lord, I searched all over, but there's nobody greater than you. Heal me, and I shall be healed. Lift your hands, receive whatever you need from the Lord. Searched all over, couldn't find nobody. Searched high and low, still couldn't find nobody. Nobody can heal me but you. Nobody great. Nobody can save me but you. Nobody great. Nobody great than you. Do you believe it? We got to go, but lift your hands in worship and declare it with us. Search all over. Hallelujah. Couldn't find nobody. Yes, I searched high and low. Still couldn't find nobody. Hallelujah. Nobody great. He's going to do it for you. Nobody great. Nobody greater. Nobody greater than you. Father, in Jesus' name, we thank you for this midday worship experience, for this opportunity to get away, to come to the safe place, to meet the person of our hope and experience the power of hope. Heal us and we shall be healed. Save us and we shall be saved. For you are our song of praise. Now, God, now unto him who is able to keep us from falling, present us faultless before his presence with exceeding joy, to the only wise God our Savior, in glory and majesty, dominion and power, both now and forever. Mark said, amen. God bless you.